the medium size lace cap into a large. This has been basted down, and now all I gotta do is take it to a sewing machine and sew it up. This is a 24-inch canvas block, and when I first started making wigs, all the wig caps are medium, which is 22 inches, which is too small for my head. So basically I squeezed a wig cap onto it and then cut it up the center after I figured out how much of a gap that there was. So that's what I did. And when I put a wig cap on here like that, I take some crayons and mark the line that I made, and then put a piece of extra lace there. So that's how I got this. And once I machine sew it into place, then I'm going to try it on and show you what I got. People7 here, people on Twitter and YouTube, people elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com, and my blog is located at PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. And here I'm going to talk about changing a medium-sized wig cap into a large. Here's the prototype of what you're looking for. This has been basted down with a temporary stitch. First I hand basted it on my canvas block, and then I machine stitched the base. I'm going to try it on, and then if that works out, of course, I'm going to machine stitch it down with a more permanent stitch using brown thread. So, okay, my hair is in an updo. This should fit. As a medium cap, it wouldn't fit on my head with it completely braided down. But after the modifications, as you can see, even with my hair in this hairstyle, I have room. And since it's still adjusting in the back, I can tighten it up at will. When I cut it, I did leave 2 rows on the adjusters. I could actually add a 3rd row here, but I don't want to do that. Now, here's the thing. When I made the full lace pink wig, I used a medium-sized cap. This is 22 inches around. I forgot, I use this when I'm making a wig for, you know, the average person. I have a dome. The wig cap that I should have used for me is this. This is 24 inches around. Now, because I've come across that issue before with the wig caps being medium, because every time you say, oh, I want a large wig cap, for some odd reason they still send the medium on occasion. And as you can tell, there's this little line right here that I put there a long time ago when I had to squeeze a medium-sized cap there. I split it through the middle to see how much of a gap there would be, and then I drew in that guide so that way I know how much to adjust the wig cap by. So that being said, that's what I did with this. I took a spare piece of lace. Well, first I drew the line with some crayon, so that way that will wash right off. If you look really close, you could probably see a red crayon line. And then I basted it down. There's a picture of it in a video clip I'll marry into this video. And now this is machine basted. And now that I know it will fit, I'm going to remove the basting after I sew it down right on the edge with some brown thread. Or I might leave it there because with it being a full lace cap, and this is a thread that will take dye, I could just literally dye it to the color of my wig cap, as you see me do in the pink cap when I dyed the entire cap brown, but it was synthetic hair, so that way it didn't touch the synthetic hair, it just dyed the cap. This is going to be a human wig, so that means I will dye this separately before I put a single knot in it, so that way I don't even have to worry about bleaching the knots or anything. All I had to do is boom. So to refresh your memory, this was done with a medium cap. And it's full lace. Here's the problem, okay? When I put it on, and I mean anchoring it down with gel or even glue. Hold on. It's caught on my thing. Okay. Looks okay, right? Until I go to move, and then it either rides up like this, and with my hair being the same color, it doesn't really matter. But I know, and it either does that, or if I wanted to put it in an updo, it lifts completely up off the back because it's this much too short in the back, and it needs to be this much wider to fit around my head. So in the meantime, there's this little bump right here from where it's puckering because my head shape and the fact that my head is bigger than this wig is doing a little pucker. Instead of lying flat, it's puckering up, and that causes it to rise up during use. So that's when I decided modify the cap, see if that works, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wig on my 24-inch block, which is not trying to cooperate with. So basically, I'm going to put it here, add a pin, add a pin, then I'm going to pull it to the side, add a pin, add a pin, and then I'm going to part it down the middle using combs. I might have to heat treat the curls completely out of it, so that way I can get a clean part without having to worry about the tangles of the curly. Or, well, maybe I could just use my fingers. Yeah, that worked. Okay. There we go. So it's parted down the middle. Actually, it parted rather cleanly, so I must have parted it before when I was ventilating it in sections. So then what I'm going to do, well, hold on, let me add a pin to hold it down. I'm going to anchor this in a couple of ponytails like that, so that way it's out the way. Then I'm going to cut up this part the way I have it in here. So this technically is the prototype. And then I'm going to add a spare piece of lace through the middle, the same way I did here. Stitch it down with a basting stitch. And then ventilate extra hair, actually the hair that's in my head. I'm going to ventilate it right through the center there, so that way, you know, it'll fit my head. And then when I ventilate it, nobody's gonna see it anyway, but when I ventilate it, I'm going to do the basting from the inside, so that way when I ventilate, I can just literally ventilate directly over that lace and then recurl it, so that way the pattern matches, and then it'll fit my head, and that way I don't have to give up a month's worth of work, because as you know, it took me a month to make this particular full lace wig. Usually it takes me longer than a month, especially when I'm using human hair, but since this is synthetic, all I had to do was fold it over instead of folding over 2 inches for a return. So yeah, I'm probably going to straighten it out anyway by dipping in water to release the curls, and then just re-curl the whole thing, so that way the pattern is exact, because as you could tell, it's in like a braid out. But what if the new hair that I add to it isn't quite the same pattern because the braid space is smaller? Then it will be kind of obvious, unless you know you wear the hair completely over every time. But what if I want to put it in a ponytail or part it or whatever? That would be obvious. So if I make it all one pattern all at one time, then yeah, that'll work out. So in the meantime, I just wanted to share that. And since I now have a modified wig cap, this will be perfect for when I make the next wig that fits my head. Now, when somebody else wants a wig, they usually say, oh, average. Well, average is the medium. If they need smaller, it adjusts to small, or I can get a small cap, but basically it's hard to find a small cap because a lot of people have an average size head, which is 22 inches, which is medium. I happen to have a dome. My daughter has a small head, so this wig is actually slightly too big on her. It's slightly too small for me. But yeah, the whole point was to have hair that matches my hair, so that way I can just put it on the go. So yeah, I'm going to modify this and show you the finished results in a future video, but I just thought I'd share that. This has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps are located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com, and my blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Bye now.